What if peace feels uncomfortable simply because you've been in survival mode for too long? Nothing is necessarily wrong. There is no immediate crisis to solve. Nobody is demanding an urgent answer. For once, things may actually be okay. And yet, instead of feeling peaceful, you feel restless. You check your phone. You start thinking about what needs to be done. You wonder what you might have forgotten. You catch yourself thinking, something feels strange, or even, what is about to go wrong? Sometimes the hardest part of leaving a difficult season is realizing that your circumstances have changed, but part of you is still living as though another emergency is coming. And perhaps this is something you need to hear today. Peace can feel unfamiliar without being wrong. If you have spent a long time responding to problems, responsibilities, uncertainty, or other people's needs, urgency can begin to feel normal. You become very good at functioning under pressure. You know how to react, how to solve, how to organize, how to keep moving. There is always something to do, and because you have spent so much time in that mode, busyness may begin to feel strangely safe. When you are doing something, you know your role. When you are solving something, you feel useful. When you are preparing for the next problem, you feel like you are staying ahead of it. But then life becomes quieter, and suddenly there is space. No emergency, no fire to put out, no urgent decision. And instead of enjoying the space, you may unconsciously begin looking for something to fill it. Another task, another worry, another project, another problem that probably does not need to become a problem yet. Not because you enjoy being stressed, but because stress is familiar, and peace may not be. Sometimes we misunderstand a quiet season. We think nothing is happening. But quiet does not mean nothing is happening. Sometimes quiet is where you recover, where you hear yourself again, where your body finally catches up with everything your mind has been carrying, where you begin noticing what you actually enjoy, where you have time to think instead of constantly react, where you start asking, what do I want my life to feel like now? Not every season has to be dramatic to be meaningful. Not every chapter has to contain a major breakthrough. Not every day needs a crisis, achievement, or big decision to count. There is value in an ordinary morning, a peaceful meal, a walk without rushing, a conversation that does not need to solve anything, an evening when nothing important happens. Maybe one of the things you are rebuilding is your ability to recognize that a peaceful life is not an empty life. After difficult seasons, some people become very good at anticipating what could go wrong. You think ahead, you prepare, you protect yourself, and sometimes that wisdom genuinely helps you. But there can come a point when being prepared turns into constantly expecting trouble. Something good happens, and instead of enjoying it, you wonder how long it will last. A peaceful week arrives, and you think, this can't continue. Someone treats you well, and you begin searching for the hidden problem. You receive good news, and part of you hesitates to celebrate because you are afraid disappointment will follow. But protecting yourself from future disappointment can also prevent you from experiencing present joy. You do not have to ruin today's peace in preparation for a pain that has not happened. You are allowed to enjoy what is good while it is good. You are allowed to say, "Today is okay," and let today be enough. This can be subtle. You finally get an afternoon with nothing urgent to do, and suddenly you decide the entire house needs reorganizing. You have a quiet evening, and you start solving problems that belong to next month. Someone takes longer than usual to respond, and your mind creates a story around the silence. A small uncertainty appears, and you immediately treat it like a major emergency. Sometimes we create urgency because urgency gives us something familiar to do. But not every thought requires action. Not every question needs an immediate answer. Not every silence needs interpretation. Not every open space needs to be filled. There are moments when the healthiest thing you can do is simply leave something alone. Let the unanswered question remain unanswered for tonight. Let the laundry wait. Let someone else handle something. Let tomorrow's concern belong to tomorrow. Nothing needs to be wrong for you to stop. There is another reason quiet can feel uncomfortable. When everything slows down, you may finally hear things you did not have time to hear before. Your own thoughts, your disappointment, your grief, your loneliness, your dreams. The questions you postponed because survival came first. Sometimes busyness protects us from ourselves. As long as there is another task, we never have to ask, "How am I really doing?" So when life becomes quieter, do not be surprised if emotions begin surfacing. That does not necessarily mean your peaceful season is going wrong. It may mean you finally have enough space to process what the difficult season never allowed you to feel. Be gentle with yourself there. You do not have to solve every emotion immediately. Sometimes noticing it is enough. Sometimes naming it is enough. Sometimes healing begins simply because you finally have room to feel. Some of us are much better at giving ourselves permission to struggle than giving ourselves permission to enjoy. When life is difficult, we know what to do. Work harder, pray harder, keep going. Push through. But when life becomes lighter, guilt can appear. You think, "Shouldn't I be doing more? Someone else has it harder. I shouldn't relax yet." But peace is not something you have to apologize for. Rest is not a betrayal of people who are still struggling. Joy is not disrespectful to the difficult seasons you survived. You can be compassionate toward the pain in this world and still receive the good that exists in your own life. You can be grateful without waiting for everything to become perfect. And you do not have to create another struggle simply because struggle is what you know best. I want you to sit with 3 questions. You do not need to answer them quickly. When nothing urgently needs me, do I feel peaceful or uncomfortable? And do I sometimes create more work, worry, or responsibility because slowing down makes me feel guilty? And finally, what would change if I believed I did not have to earn peace? Notice your first response. There is no right answer. We are simply becoming aware of what has been shaping the way we live. Sometime this week, when you find yourself with a quiet moment, do not immediately fill it. Give yourself 5 minutes. No task. No unnecessary scrolling. No checking what everyone else needs. No searching for another problem. Just sit. Breathe. Look out the window. Have your coffee. Step outside and notice what happens inside you. If your mind starts saying, "You should be doing something," gently remind yourself, "Nothing needs to be wrong for me to stop." You are not wasting the moment. You are learning how to live inside it. Before you leave today, remember these three things. Peace is not laziness. You do not have to be constantly producing to justify your existence. Quiet is not emptiness. Some of the most important rebuilding happens in seasons that look ordinary from the outside. And you do not have to keep expecting the next disaster. You can prepare wisely without living permanently braced for impact. You already learned how to survive difficult seasons. Maybe now you are being invited to learn something different. How to receive, how to rest, how to enjoy, how to trust a peaceful day without interrogating it, how to let something good simply be good. My friend, perhaps you have spent years becoming incredibly good at surviving storms. You learned how to function when life was uncertain. You learned how to keep going when things were difficult. You learned how to carry responsibilities you never expected. Those skills mattered. They helped you through, but perhaps you do not need all of them in the same way anymore. Maybe this season is asking you to loosen your grip, to stop scanning the horizon for clouds, to stop assuming quiet means something bad must be coming, to let yourself enjoy what is here. So I want to leave you with one question. Is peace easy for you to receive? Or do you sometimes feel uncomfortable when life becomes quiet? Tell me in the comments. I think more people experience this than we realize. And if you are rebuilding yourself after a difficult season, subscribe to Dream Life Diaries. This is where we learn to rebuild with faith, courage, and intention, one step at a time. And take this thought with you. You already learned how to survive the storm. Maybe this season is teaching you how to stop expecting thunder